Hello and welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report with Kristina Hernandez. As always, I'm joined by the head volleyball coach here at Hofstra, Coach Hernandez. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, a one-on-one week last week, another road trip and conference. Went down to James Madison, George Mason. Your quick thoughts about the weekend?
I think James, I think we had some good things going on. We passed the serve well, but, attacking, I think our outsides needs to be a little bit more efficient with what they were doing. So I think that put us down in a hole. And, we stayed in some sets, but towards the end, we just didn't close it out. So I think that was kind of the big thing with that game. And George Mason, we did better, coming back the next day and really making sure that we focused on what we were doing offensively. And, I think we hit pretty well in that game. And Erica and Nikki had really good games, and, that helped us do really well. And we, Kylie was really doing well defensively in that match. So that definitely kind of helped set the tone.
Obviously, the James Madison match, going on the road to one of the better teams in the conference. And this looks like completely the attacking wasn't to the level it's been this season, and even defensively, Kylie only ends up with 10 digs in the match. It's kind of like, I guess, the combination thing led to the defeat.
Yeah, they were really trying to keep the ball away from her, and we kept trying to move her around, but essentially they were trying to keep the ball away from her, which a lot of teams are starting to do, and so we've kind of got to tighten up our defense a little bit more in the left back, and so we can do some better things, but. I think that definitely, Kylie, when, she really, I think against George Mason, she had a lot of digs, and it just kind of helps us transition a little bit more and have a lot of more second and third chance opportunities to, put the ball down.
Now it's interesting when Hofstra goes on the road, less when you go to Georgia State and UNC Wilmington, you get the one-day turnaround. There's no off day in between. So Saturday night, you're now at George Mason for really an important match. How were you able to turn the team around so quickly and get them focused and just forgetting the Friday night defeat and just get ready for the George Mason team?
We kind of we got to let it go, and we sat them down, and it's just kind of going over the things that we didn't do well against James Madison, which didn't help us be successful. And we want to really make sure that we're keeping it in perspective with them as to why we're not executing, and that it's not just, that they're not, that James, played better than us, but more things that we can control. So I think that's the big thing, is making them aware of the things that we can take care of to help us stay in matches. So we did that, and they turned around. They knew that George Mason was an important match. We needed to get that one. And we're kind of just taking it one game at a time, and we've got to kind of see it that way and keep getting wins. But they knew it was an important match, and they needed to turn around and get back and get the job done, and I think they did a good job.
Is it important in conference play that, at 8:30 on Friday you lose to James Madison, for the players to really just turn the page, and maybe the staff to kind of look back at that match and see what went wrong, what we can do better, but the players really to move forward and kind of focus on the next opponent?
Definitely. As much as we would like to wallow in it, we kind of have to shift gears really quickly and get them back on track and ready and thinking about the next game, since there's no day in between to kind of get things back together. And we looked at what we needed to be better at and made some adjustments, and it's what we need to do on our end as a coaching staff, and definitely make sure that the kids are ready to go the next day and not thinking about what they did the night before.
It's actually an interesting dynamic in the conference when teams come to the Hofstra Northeastern trip or the Wilmington Georgia State trip. There's a day off in between. So if you're home, you're getting the day off. But when we're on the road here at Hofstra, you're not getting that day off. So it's really an interesting dynamic playing out within the whole conference.
It's definitely different. We almost prefer to play back-to-back. It kind of just helps you, again, just kind of get over it quickly and get on to the next match. And, we like playing those games. Kind of sometimes taking a day off in between, it's just kind of, you just kind of sit there and think about what you got to do.
On Saturday, like as you mentioned, 3-set victory over George Mason. Really just a balanced team effort. You mentioned Nikki with 11 kills, Erica with 10, and then a couple other people just really chipping in and doing their part to help the team to the victory.
And that's definitely one of the things that helped us be successful and why we win games. And those are the things we need to do. We don't need everybody to do superstar things, but we need to be consistent. Everybody needs to help out and kind of do their part and what they're supposed to be doing. And if we can have 2 or 3 people in double digits, then it's going to help us, get some good wins.
Blocking wise, obviously Erica once again contributed very well there with 5 blocks, but you got 5 blocks from Nikki Kinnear as well, tying her career high. Was there something that she did right in that match to really get involved more in the blocking?
Yeah, she really did a good job of just setting up on the right side and really kind of sticking to it and kind of just taking away the tendency rather than kind of moving with her a little bit. So she did a good job with that. She was reading the middles really well on their sides, and we've been spending a lot of time on our blocking in practice right now, just kind of tightening up because it hasn't been as strong as we have seen it in the beginning of the year. So they're doing a good job, and we're just trying to make sure that we can get a lot of points off of that, and it kind of changes the dynamic of the game and really gives you a lot of energy and intensity. So she did a good job, and Anissa, I think she had a good blocking match as well in that set towards the end, and it just definitely changes the tone of the match, and we got some really good blocks. It's a key point.
Defensively as well, Kylie Maneja, 23 digs, as you mentioned. After the previous night, just not really her normal self with only 10 digs. How did she go from 10 digs to almost averaging 8 digs per set in the next night?
We really are just having her kind of take a bigger span in the backcourt. We're not trying to shift her over and have her stand in one spot. We really just kind of want to take her both seams in the back there and in the middle. And we're kind of just asking her to take on a lot more responsibility and just kind of take as many things as she can, because we know people are going to try and keep the ball away from her. So we don't want to really shift her over and keep a lot of things away from her. And there are points where her and Kelsey will kind of switch in the left back and middle back, and if they know one hitter's really killing us in the left back. And so I think they're doing a really good job and trying to make sure that they put Kylie in a position to get more digs for us, and so they're working well back there. But she was just kind of all over the place, which is what we need from her.
Is that kind of the evolution of a great player, when they kind of realize what the coaching staff and the rest of the team needs from them, that they evolve and do that, as evident by 23 digs in a 3-set match?
Yeah, definitely. Her and Kelsey will do that on their own, and they will make the switch, and it works, and it ends up working well for us. And I think Kylie's confident enough back there to know what is going to help us, kind of get back in the role of the game, and what's killing us and not working for us. So she does well back there, and she kind of makes adjustments on her own with some of the defense, and that's what we wanted her to do. So she's doing a really good job with that right now.
So you're involved in a tough little stretch here, 7 of 9 away from home to end the regular season, which is unheard of, but it's also unheard of that you played the first 5 at home. 12 and 12, 3 and 4 in the conference right now. Moving forward towards the end of the season, kind of now, what do you guys have to do to get over the hump in just a huge logjam in the conference standings? We've just got to really focus on being consistent right now. I think in the beginning we had a lot of serving and passing errors, and we've definitely tightened that up and been doing really well with that, especially in practice. So right now we're just focusing on cleaning up our offense and making sure that we're doing really good things in practice so that we can prepare for the matches. And I think that's really going to be the thing that's important for us. I think if we can get out there and actually play all the way around, with our offense and passing and serving and be consistent, then we can get some things done. And that's what we're focusing on right now. And just making sure that we're really prepared and doing those things. And so that's really been the key. And they've been practicing well, so we just got to keep doing those things. But I think we really just got to take it one game at a time. And Northeastern's a big one, and it'll be good if we can close it out and get that one this weekend. You have wins over 2 teams that are near the top of the standings, in Delaware and Northeastern. Does that kind of give your team some, I guess in the back of their head, knowing that they can beat the top teams in the conference as the regular season winds down? Definitely. I think they know that they can compete with them, and it's nice to have those 2 wins. I think hopefully those will help us down the road. But they're ready to go, and they want to compete, and we just want to be able to play our game and be able to stay in there and stay in some matches. This weekend, second time around with Northeastern, it's actually another interesting dynamic. Arguably one of the best comebacks in program history a few weeks ago when you came back from 2 sets down to beat them. And then a couple weeks later, you have the tables turned to you and done to you. How do you guys get past that and learn from that on both ways? Winning that type of match, so not falling in that hole, but also being able to push the lead to a victory instead of falling back? We've been working on that as well, just kind of finishing sets in practice and really just kind of focusing on those last 2 points and not kind of losing, focus and making silly errors. But, on the flip side, we know we can come back, and I think that's good for us. But when we have the opportunity, we're up 2-0, we really have to take advantage and kind of
close out and go in 3 sets. And with George Mason, when we were up 2-0, we really, put pressure on them to finish in that 3rd set. We don't want to let it go because we don't want to let anybody back in. So they did a really good job with that, and they closed it out because we don't want to get predicaments where we let somebody back in the match. And I think they've learned their lesson from that. It's hard to come back. It's hard to come back in the 5th set when you are up the first 2 and then you lose the next 2. The other team has momentum, and I think that's what helped us. The first time we beat Northeastern is, you just kind of get the ball rolling, but we definitely don't want to be in that position.
You're obviously expecting just a huge effort from them, Northeastern, as your opponent, after having the tables turned on them the last time here. And Kelly Bacon, any update on her? If she'll be playing for them?
Yeah, she's back. She was back this past weekend when they played George and James. So, we're ready, and we've seen film and we know what they're doing. So it's going to be a battle. I'm sure they're going to come out ready to go since we took it in 5 last time, and they're in their home gym. I mean, it's always a tough one with Northeastern. So, we got to be ready to go as well.
One match this weekend. You kind of like having just the one match. Only one purpose all week, just one opponent.
Definitely, it just kind of helps us focus in and zone in, especially when Northeastern's at the top right now. If we can pull this out and get the win, it's going to be a good thing for us.
Great, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today on the WB Mason Coaches Report with Kristina Hernandez here on GoHofstra.com.